All right, hello everybody. I am setting up my bag here for hole number 4 here, and this is quite a interesting hole here. The best thing that I recommend, I think in Masters Division, it's kind of going to be, driver 3 wood no matter what. So that's really going to be the only important thing. Other than that, you might want to put a good rough iron and sand wedge just in case your approach goes wayward, that you feel comfortable for making the hole out pitch. But I'm going to try to, focus on not putting it in those places for you guys for this guide. One of the things that I do want to mention here, you see me using a Kingmaker. Now, I did see some value in using either a bunny, mummy ball, definitely dead ball. All these things can be very useful for this hole. For my guide, I'm not going to use it, but I would recommend using it. The more side spin, the better. So probably dead ball would probably be the number 1 option. Number 2 would be, bunny ball, mummy. So, because you don't quite have that side spin, which means you're going to have to do the approach with more of either a curl or a hook method to kind of get your second shot where you need it to be. But at the very least, wherever I drive it with a Kingmaker, even with an Epoch 7, you can probably get a dead ball or a mummy ball very close to where I'm hitting it with even an Epoch 5 if you hit your drive perfect. So that's one of the things that will be kind of nice for my guide, is matching up to where I'm at will be possible. Now, one of the things that I do want to say is always spin away from the sand. You can see even with the left spin that the ball is running towards the bunker. So now what I do like to do is I like to keep some of that off, because I usually get a little bit more true of a run out with a straight shot. So here you might just see me kind of overcorrect to the left here to kind of straighten out my ball guide a little bit. But definitely make sure that the momentum of the ball is away from the sand. You don't want to get too close. And this is going to be close again, just like it was yesterday, but it is going to stay out and just get around the sand. Like I said, even with an Epoch 5, I do believe you can get up to where I am. All you would need to do is put on and with Epoch 4, man, this is going to be a brutal tournament for that guy. So, I'm looking at holes like hole 4 and 9, and Epoch 4 is going to be quite the uphill battle. I almost feel like, you're kind of putting yourself to kind of playing for top 10, best case scenario, as opposed to, being able to come away with it. But, needless to say, you can still, get away with it. In fact, his ball's not that much farther behind than mine, which is a pretty solid accomplishment, which means I really didn't get a very good run out there. What I would recommend doing here, as you can see, I can kind of get up into power. What I try to do is I try to land it here. And you can see what I'm doing with my back and side spin. This is more of sniper spin, so I don't know why I'm even taking this club. But if you go up more towards max power here and go at it with a full hook, then you should be able to, swing this up on the green towards the pin. I'm just a little bit lazy with that. Here you're seeing it just roll off into the fringe. You do want to be very precise with it, because to stay out of the rough is going to be quite the feat. That's one of the reasons that you might want to jam up the backspin with Guardian, is to make life on yourself a little bit easier. And another landing zone that you can use I don't know if I have enough time to do this, but landing right here, you know, if you saw where I just put that X, can be a very nice target, especially if you have a cataclysm. But you might need to take advantage of more full curl to land it there. So this is not going to be enough curl. It also did not quite land on the fairway. Maybe with perfect ball it would have just caught the edge. But those are kind of the places that you need to look. And like I said, you do need to get quite aggressive, much more so than you feel really comfortable doing. Like you have to get within a couple rings, 1 to 2 rings of that edge to really give yourself a really great shot. And you know, actually going at that pin is going to be a little bit challenging unless you put on, and so that's something that I might do is, you know, bringing a sniper here. One of the drawbacks is you're going to lose the 4 yards. That's kind of, well, it's more than 4, it's 6. You're going to lose 6 yards of power, which means you might not be able to go into as much power as I just did to pull off the shot that I just did. You would probably have to power up, whereas I didn't. So it will change your shot a little bit. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the approach that, you know, I'm kind of setting you up to hopefully get away with birdie there at the worst case. The problem with Guardian is you don't quite have the hook to get what you need to really send it towards the pin. Without, you would probably need to, you know, only 70 curl. That's almost what I'm doing on the phone. I'm pretty much maxing out, so at landscape it isn't going to help you. However, if I was to switch to sniper, for example, I could go into landscape and I could play less aggressively, land it a little bit more right, and still spin it more to the left, sending it towards the hole, which is more of a safer shot. Keeps you out of the sand, you know, on the shot there. And one of the things that you want to avoid is, you know, landing it in that rough long on the right. So cranking up that backspin a little bit extra will help you avoid that. For instance, I could have altered my shot a little bit, did 7 or 8 rings of backspin on the Guardian, and used that same shot. And instead of, you know, the rough would have never came into play. It would have just kind of stopped on the very front fringe, and you would have just an easy uphill pitch. And the rough will never come into play. You'll never make that mental mistake. Whereas I still have to execute the shot, kind of getting aggressive the way that I was. Even though I wasn't getting aggressive with the curl, getting it around towards the hole, and landing it very close to that rough edge like you need to, I was still getting somewhat aggressive with that approach. So good luck with that hole. Hopefully you find those tips useful, and I'll see you guys soon for hole number 5.